Good morning, my beautiful soul followers. How's everyone doing? I am out on a walk, enjoying the beautiful Texas summer as it comes in my dress. It is dress time of year. I absolutely love dresses. I hate pants. So if I can be as free as possible, I want to be. And so this is definitely my favorite time of year when I can just throw on my dress and go and just be fluid and flowy. But that is not the topic for today. Dresses. I should do a whole live stream on the importance of dresses for the orgasmic life. For a woman, at least. For a woman. And so I do have something really kind of deep to share with you guys today. And yesterday, I had the blessed experience of getting some energy work done by somebody in my life that I had asked a friend. I had been really holding a whole bunch of stuff in my chest and some other places in my body, and it was this slow kind of progression of noticing not really being able to breathe as much as I had been, not able to really focus as much. It was this slow progression. And so I was like, okay, I need somebody so I can just really surrender into this. And I wrote a whole article on this earlier, so after my live stream, if you want to go pop over and read it, you can get even more little coaching nuggets. But I did this entire session yesterday, and I allowed him to really release all this energy from my chest. And I found myself literally like sobbing, and it wasn't in this like really like sad place. It was this emotion and energy that just came up in me and was releasing, and it felt so incredibly orgasmic. And I know that does not sound like it goes together, but the fact is that emotional release, when we truly release from our core of our being, we allow that stuff to come up and out and just be free and really allow it to leave our energy bodies, then we become lighter. And we see pieces of ourselves. That is essential if we're going to live our best life, if we're going to have our best sex even. I can remember about a year ago, I was with my partner at the time, and I remember I had just had a loss of a friend, and I was holding a lot of energy in my genitals, and we were having sex, and he hit this one spot, and I was like, whew, okay, slow down. I need to breathe into this. I need to breathe into this energy. And then as we kept going, slowly, but we kept going, that energy center released, that space in my body that was holding all the sadness and this true depth of like nostalgia and missing my friend who had literally just died a couple days prior, released, and I started bawling my eyes out in the middle of sex. And it was a beautiful moment because he was able to really hold space for me in that. And so in that process, afterwards, once that release had happened, then the next week when we had sex, it was so much better. I was so much more connected to my body, and I watch this with my clients all the time. But what we end up doing is we cut off our negative emotions. I talk about the orgasmic wave, and when I talk about the orgasmic wave, the orgasmic frequency, that does not mean that we're up here all the time. Guess what? A lot of people who pretend to be up here all the time are just doing just that, pretending. They're not truly feeling their full selves. And now we hope to not be dropping quite as much and catching our energies before they get really bogged down and really in that heavy space, just like I had recognized yesterday. Oh wow, I need some assistance here to release this before it gets any worse, before it really sinks into my body and I have issues getting rid of it. And so I was able to release it. But a lot of people want to cut off these, and I don't even like calling them negative emotions because they're just emotions. Why do we have to label them as negative? But we cut off these pieces of ourselves that we don't want to feel or we don't want to look at. I work with lots of people who have experienced trauma, and they're like, I don't want to feel that. I don't want to look at it. I just need to move on. That is how I'm going to to move through this. I'm just going to move forward. I'm just going to like let it go. But the fact is they're not really letting it go. They're letting it go on a very surface level. They're not letting it go on an energetic level. They're not letting it go on a heart space level. Even they're most likely not letting it go on a subconscious level. And so by not dealing with our shit, we hold back our ability to have that orgasmic life. Now, sometimes that shit is in the bag. Like I said a year ago with my partner, remembering like this moment of like really needing to release all this pent up energy stuck in my genitals that was very, very toxic and would have stayed there and caused issues if I hadn't released it. But it was uncomfortable. It was uncomfortable in the moment physically. It was uncomfortable in the moment emotionally, like sobbing. And then even yesterday I was like, oh my goodness, like I don't really want to feel this. I don't really want to be feeling it. But I know, and I coach my clients to know that to lean into a little bit of that discomfort will, in the long run, allow us to feel deeper and really experience. And guess what? When you are not just crying, like we're not talking about like boo-hoo here. We're not talking about being angry just out of like, I'm pissed off. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about like that deeper core emotion that comes up. I'm talking about really connecting to that core of it. Okay, so like if you're really angry, if you're holding that deep-seated anger, letting it go, fucking screaming and yelling and beating things, like letting it go, but letting it go. That's the thing. Really dropping in and letting it go. Crying, but not just boo-hoo crying, like, oh, I'm sad. You know, that's very ego-based. And yes, we can be sad and we have our egos for a reason, but I'm talking about this deeper-seated sadness that gets stuck in our body and really allowing that to flow through. Guess what? That is orgasmic because it catapults us up to those higher spaces, those more climactic energies. It actually raises our ability to feel, because if we have not dug into our darkness, we cannot experience our light as much. So as much darkness as you experience is as much light as you can experience. And so it is very important that you look at your shit. You look at your shit. Hi, Mark. Hey. Hi, Arjun. Hi, everybody else jumping on. It is really important that you look at your shit. Look at where you're holding yourself back from dealing with stuff. We oftentimes will toss things to the side, but what ends up happening is that we're not truly tossing them to the side. We are collecting and collecting and collecting and collecting. We're great collectors. We are great collectors. And then we end up manifesting all of that. We end up totally manifesting even more of that negative energy because it's in our energy field. And that is what we're calling in. That's what our mind is focused on, consciously or subconsciously. And so it is important that we look at those spaces that we don't want to deal with and the places where we're avoiding dealing with things. I know so many people in my life right now and coaching clients and family, friends that are doing a lot of avoidance, and that avoidance really does hold us down. It weighs us down, and sometimes you have to cut those weights. You have to cut those weights, and sometimes that is a meditative, like really cutting of the weights. And so, my message for all you beautiful souls out there, because you do deserve that orgasmic life, you so deserve to be living high vibe in the bedroom, out of the bedroom, experiencing all the pleasures like this beautiful day I'm experiencing with all these green trees and perfect temperature. In order to really drop into those moments and to really feel them, to feel the vibrancy, the energy, you have to let go of some of the things that are weighing you down and the emotions that you're holding. And if there is something you're avoiding, going and just like facing it. And that doesn't mean that we have to cut everything or everybody off in our lives if they cause some shakiness. Sometimes that's a growth place. But to deal with it, to process it, to move through it. To move through it. And to move through it in a positive feeling place. Like, I was crying last night. I was bawling. I was not feeling good in that moment. I was just like, it felt good to release. But the truth is, I was like bawling. It was not pretty. I like, it's not coming out of my nose. It was not. I'm looking much better this morning. It was not pretty last night. But the fact is, I knew even in that pain as it was coming up and releasing from my body, guess what? I knew even in that moment that it was moving me towards where I needed to be energetically, emotionally, physically. And so, go and look at where you need to really tackle your life today. Maybe it's in the bedroom. Maybe you're a woman and you're struggling with shut down in your sex. And maybe you just need to feel into those spaces in your genitals that are tight or constricted. Maybe they're numb. Maybe they're numb. Sometimes numbness is the biggest key point of us holding. It is our body shutting things down. So, really do a good body scan today, do a good life scan today, and that is my challenge for you all. And if you want to work with me one-on-one, then there is a link in the comments. Let's do a quick chat. Let's do a quick check-in chat and see how you can up-level your orgasmic life, how you can move through to even higher levels, because you are worth it and you are deserving of it, and it is attainable. You just have to believe it and step in it and claim it and grab that fire with it. So, all right, guys, I'm going to continue on my walk. I love you, and I will see you tomorrow for another Addison Unleashed. Link below, and throw me some love heart showers and comments. Tell me where you are releasing. I would love to hear about it. Okay, guys, bye.